In this lesson, we are going to be solving equations or word problems that involve rational expressions. So we should probably have some variables in our denominator or just fractions involved in our problem. So for this first one, it says Ethan can do a job in 4 hours. Bryn can do the same job in 6 hours. How many hours will it take the two of them to do the job if they work together? A lot of people will say it takes them 5 hours because you average the 2 hours for both. But think about it. If Ethan can do the whole job in 4 hours, it's going to take them less than 4 hours to do it together, right? So that 5 hours doesn't really make sense. In order for us to figure out how to solve this, I think all of us could give a great estimate to this problem, and in the real world an estimate might be okay. We're just going to practice setting up one for this. So if Ethan can do one job in 4 hours, so there's Ethan. Bryn can do that same job, so we'll say one job, same one, in 6 hours. So we'll call that job X. So Ethan is X over 4 and Bryn is X over 6. And sometimes because that's confusing to write it like that, you could call it 1/4 X and 1/6 X if you wanted to. But since they're working together, we're going to add them together. So Ethan's rate plus Bryn's rate equals, and this is the part that's really confusing for people because they're not sure what we should set it equal to, but we want them to do one job, and since the rate was for one job, this equals 1. So now to solve this equation for X, we're going to use what we did a lot when we were putting things into standard form. Remember when we had fractions, we'd always multiply by the common denominator. So in this case our common denominator is 12. So when I distribute and I take 1/4 times 12, I would get 3x. 1/6 times 12 would give me 2x. And then 1 times 12 is 12. So from here this problem gets to be pretty simple. When I divide both sides by 5, I find that x is 12/5. So it says x is how long it takes to do the job, right? So it takes them 12/5 hours, which doesn't seem like a way we'd answer it, does it? So let me make that a mixed number once. 2 and 2/5. So we're going to say it takes them 2.4 hours. If you really wanted to convert that to minutes, you could, but I think 2.4 hours is close enough. If you would have guessed 2.5 hours, that'd be a great estimate for this problem also. Number 5 then, for these we're going to practice, we're actually going to learn how to solve these problems that we're doing like this in a few days. But I wanted you to have ways to work backwards with multiple choice because that's something you might have to do on your ACT or your MCA. So first we're going to write this equation. It says find two consecutive even integers such that the sum of their reciprocals is 7/24. So two consecutive even integers. Integers are numbers, we add them, no fractions, decimals, right? So let's think of the first, or we could have fraction decimals, excuse me, those would be real. The first number is, we don't know, right? No. So we'll call the first number x, how about? Now if they're consecutive even integers, so consecutive even integers, I'm going to say my second number, because they're even or odd numbers, either case, I go consecutive even integers, it'd be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So to go from one number to the next, I would have to add 2. So there are my first two numbers, x and x plus 2. If it said two consecutive odd integers, I'd have the same thing. I'd add 2 because going from odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, I add 2. So such that the sum of their reciprocals, so their reciprocals, the reciprocal of the first number would be 1 over x. The reciprocal of the second number would be 1 over x plus 2. So now they said the sum of their reciprocals, so 1 over x plus 1 over x plus 2 is 7/24. The nice thing about this is I can use my answers to help me here. So the first thing I would do is cross out c, because there's no way it's 6 and 7 because those aren't consecutive even. So to replace this, I'm going to say if the answers are 4 and 6, they're saying the reciprocal. So 1/4 plus 1/6, does that equal 7/24? That'd be A. B would be 1/8 plus 1/10, does that equal 7/24? And D, because we crossed out C, would be 1/6 plus 1/8. Does that equal 7/24? So you could do these all in your head, you could do them on your calculator, however you want to, but when you go through you would see that 1/4 and 1/6 is not 7/24, so A is out. 1/8 and 1/10 is not 7/24, so B is out. 1/6 plus 1/8 is 7/24, so my answer would be D. And for now, that's how we want to solve these. We're going to work backwards with our answers. In a few days, we're going to learn how to solve this equation here in blue. This one right here, we're going to learn how to solve when we get to lesson 9.6. And we'll have a way to solve this. And if you want to use that way once you take your test or once you do your Excel math test, that's fine. But I also want you to learn how to work backwards because that's going to be a good skill for you when you take your ACT. The last one we're going to do then, same idea. The sum of a reciprocal of a number and the reciprocal of 9 less than the number. Okay, so the first number we're just going to call x again. And the second number, it said 9 less than it, right? So we'll call that x minus 9. And they use the term reciprocal again. So they're saying the reciprocal of each, so 1 over x and 1 over x minus 9. So the sum of the reciprocal of a number and the reciprocal of the 9 less than a number, so the sum of these two blue numbers, so 1 over x plus 1 over x minus 9 equals, is 7 times the reciprocal of the original number. Okay, so the original number is x, right? So 7 times the reciprocal of that. So that'd be 1 over x times 7, otherwise known as 7 over x. So now to solve this one, this is a lot more work because I'm going to have to plug each one of these in to see which one works. So as I go through, I'm going to have to plug in for x 54/7. Oops, 54, that's my A value, right? 54/7 and 54/7. So on my calculator, let's just do this on my calculator. We'll pull my calculator up quick so you can see how you do it because it gets a little bit confusing. So I'm going to punch in 1 divided by parenthesis. Actually, you know what might be easier? Let's do this. Let's take 54 divided by 7 and get that decimal value. Because now you can use that, you can use your reach function. So I'm going to go 1 divided by this number. Oh, I don't have the grab number like you guys do. Sorry. You can go up and grab. That'd be great for you. I'm going to have to do it the long way. So 1 divided by parenthesis 54 divided by 7, and that equals. Okay, and then I'm going to take 54/7 minus 9. And then I'm going to take 1 divided by that. So you could be going up and grabbing all these numbers, which is super annoying for me not to be able to do that. And divide by that, 1 divided by that. So I have negative 0.780. So my 1 divided by 54/7 is 0.1296. I'm going to add that to my other number. So you would use your grab function, so you'll get better answer than me. 1.96, I'm going to go 296296. And then I'm going to add negative 0.7803790. Whoops. How about 0.00238? Oh, I hit something wrong, huh? Oh. We wanted that to be minus, how about? There we go. So we had a negative number. Now we're going to punch in and say, okay, is that the same as 7 divided by 54/7? So 7 divided by parenthesis 54 divided by 7. Oops. Are these the same decimals? They are not. So after all that work, I am just finding that A is not my answer. So you guys go ahead and try B and then C and then D on your calculator, and then unpause the video and see if you get the same answer as me. So when you go through them all, the only one that checks is B. If you did not get that, I want to help you with how you use your calculator so you can get that next time. The last one we're going to do, it says the production rate of a small factory is modeled by x plus 24 over 4x times x plus 3. Well, the production of another factory is modeled by 9x plus 24 divided by 4x times x plus 3. What would be a model for the combined production rate of the two factories? When they say combined production rate, they literally just want you to add this plus this. They make it seem more complicated than that by their wording, but that's really all it means if you're combining their productions. So I would write this out as an addition problem. And the best part about it is what? They already have common denominators, so I can literally add like terms in my numerator and then put it over my denominator. Then when I go to simplify this, I would try to factor out anything that I could. So I could take a 2 out of the top and get 5x plus 24 over 4x times x plus 3. Then I would choose to reduce this 2 and 4, and that would be my answer. The crazy thing is, this is how we would answer it in class. This is actually how Excel Math answers it. So you won't have to reduce in that. They leave it like that. So you can do that also. If you have any questions on this lesson, make sure you let me know.